where do I begin? Even kind of sitting down and making this video feels a little triggering because the last video that I made was the beginning of what's been like a very hellish time in my life. And I didn't know, you know, that day that I made that video, I was feeling kind of anxious and could feel things kind of stirring, but I just had no idea what was in store. And life has just looked dramatically different since then. So that was my last update with Lyme and SOT and just my health and what was going on. And yeah, it's just been a really big nightmare ever since, a really big initiation. I feel like I need to, well, I want to get away from saying nightmare because I think it's probably all really important and teaching me a lot, but it's been a nightmare. It's been hell. I think it's important to call it what it is, but it's also been, I'm sure, a really important initiation in my journey. So yeah, the fact that I can even sit here right now and try to make this video says mountains. It says something really, really big and significant because yeah, since October up until maybe just a couple months ago, I was just living in this very, very intense anxiety, panic, doom. If you're familiar with Lyme disease or you're going through it, then and you're familiar with the psychological symptoms, they can be extremely severe. And yeah, that's where I've been up until recently. So anyways, this video could feel a bit scattered. It could be really short, it could be really long. I don't really know. I'm still like super kind of in it as far as my journey, and don't feel like myself, and there's a lot of brain fog and a lot of just feeling really deeply in between. So hopefully it all makes sense, and yeah, we'll see. But I'm just gonna fill you in because a lot of people have contacted me or they've commented on other videos asking how things are going, or they've found me through Facebook Messenger or Instagram asking about SOT and or LymeStop. So here we are. I'm gonna try to make this quick. We'll see. So yeah, the last video that I made, after that things progressively got a lot worse. Started having a lot of extreme symptoms again, and just severe anxiety and panic and doom and catastrophic thinking, and my nervous system just completely broke. It completely broke. I also feel that at that time I was putting my body in a particular place and position that it didn't feel safe. I wasn't being physically harmed, but just some things that were bringing up trauma and not feeling safe, and just this perceived threat of danger, I think, and just a lot of triggers. So I think that that's a part of also what happened with allowing these things to just explode again like they did in 2021. So yeah, I think I was putting myself in these situations and not having a good hold still on my like just boundaries and authority and like strong, like sovereign in myself being. And I was just slipping into a lot of similar patterns, and I think my body said no. And it was trying to protect me, so it just clamped down, and it kept clamping down. And so it just started snowballing, started having all of those symptoms again. I think again, to protect me from other situations, going down maybe like a not so great path. And yeah, just, yeah, it got really hard really quickly. So immediately just not sleeping again, all the anxiety, stomach issues. I lost quite a bit of weight rapidly in October, probably like 15 pounds over probably a few weeks or something, maybe a month. Tingling, vibrations, heart palpitations, just head pain, still was having the severe pelvic pain, back pain, all sorts of other pain, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on with the symptoms. But I don't think I had a moment where I felt normal or safe, and not in that extreme terror and panic at that point on. So from there on. So when I went back to ozone, I did a ton of ozone because it really helped before, and I thought it was gonna help again, and I actually got back on an SSRI, Zoloft, just a low dose, because that's really what pulled me out of it in 2020, at the beginning of 2022. So I went back and did a ton of high dose ozone, probably like 11 or 12 or 13 different sessions with that. Got on the SSRI, waited the length of time that, you know, it's supposed to like kick in, and didn't really see any difference. Was trying to do other things that were supportive. Nothing was working, and now I know that like a lot of these things inside of you, like when you, like your brain is really smart with how it operates when it's just like firing off danger or perceiving threat, or just trying to even protect you, but just the same modalities that helped you once normally might not help you again, because your body gets just really smart. Even the infections and Lyme and Bartonella and all of those things, they're like, oh, we know these tricks, we're not going there, we're not doing that. So I think that's what happened. Just I tried to repeat the healing that I had before, and I think I just had a lot to learn. So my body was not responding. And so after I kind of realized that the ozone and the SSRI and all of these things weren't working, I kind of shifted and went to some different doctors. I was very let down. I had a doctor tell me that I just needed to do a psilocybin journey, a magic mushroom journey, and face my trauma and try to understand what these teachers were trying to teach me, what Lyme was trying to teach me, why I'm hanging on to illness or sickness, which I absolutely agree with all of this, but that wasn't what I needed to hear in that moment at all. Was a doctor who I was counting on to tell me just, you know, do some brain retraining and big psychedelic journey and face your shit. Yeah, how do you, I think that those things have a time and a place, but when you're already feeling extremely, extremely, extremely dysregulated, throwing yourself, blasting yourself into something like that only can cause probably more dysregulation. So yeah, just wasn't having a lot of success with the people that I was going to, with the answers that I wanted. Also during that time, I went to a surgeon a couple hours away who is highly recommended to try to further investigate my pelvic pain and see if that was more possible endometriosis, and what I wanted to do from there. So I had a really thorough examination, and just from the information I gathered from that appointment, decided not to go forward with surgery. It seemed like if I did have endometriosis, it was probably superficial because my organs and stuff were moving around really well. And yeah, I think in my heart and soul, like it hasn't been time yet to go down that path, and I don't think that that's my path, but I could be wrong. But so far my intuition has said like no surgery. And you know, things like Bartonella especially can get into different parts of your body. Like it probably moved from my brain, where it was a couple years ago, like really deep down in my pelvis, creating issues. And then side note, I feel like this is kind of all over the place, but what I was starting to learn through, or think that I'm learning through an acupuncturist that I've been going to, who's brilliant and just a beautiful soul and person who's helped me a lot, was suggested by the doctor, who told me to have the big psychedelic journey and then just brushed me along. You know, she was telling me to like cell danger, which I had started to become familiar with. Like if you're in cell danger, your cells are so clamped down, like nothing's coming in, nothing's coming out. You're just in that danger mode, which, you know, your brain and your cells and all of these things, when they're clamped in that danger mode, like not a lot of healing can happen. There's not a lot of flow. Like it is completely contracted, which is where I think I've been for just the past 6 or 7 months up until recently. But yeah, she suggested this brilliant acupuncturist who I started to see, and we started talking about how the pelvic pain could be more of my psoas muscle, which is really interesting if you research the psoas on a very emotional, energetic level, because it has everything to do with your safety and fight or flight, and connects directly to the brain. And you know, there's just all these connections with the jaw to the pelvis, with the brain to the psoas, like so then I started kind of moving away so much from the endometriosis and those ways of thinking, more to different kind of muscular structural things. So that was a part of the story. And thankfully that surgeon was just so kind and nice, and really was just on board with all of the Lyme stuff. I know a lot of doctors can just gaslight and be very dismissive when it comes to these infections, but he was very open and very suggestive that they could definitely be playing a huge part, which endometriosis is a huge like inflammatory response, and that's like not the root cause, like something is causing that inflammation. So yeah, moving on from that, that was probably in November, and I think maybe by that point or around there, I'm not really sure, I decided to book an appointment with a LymeStop. So I had thought about doing an SOT again, but I felt like I would probably need so many, and they're like thousands of dollars each. So I just felt like I didn't want to go down that path. It was very, very hard decision, because so many people have a lot of success with SOT, and I love the technology, and I love the science and everything about it. I think if you feel called to go down that path, you absolutely should, or could. But yeah, I decided LymeStop. I was feeling like, you know, things like COVID and other infections were very much in play with, you know, the Lyme and everything else. So LymeStop kind of hits a bunch of things all at once, which can be a lot for your immune system, but it's kind of trying to take care of all the things instead of just breaking it up and paying a shit ton of money. So, yeah, I ended up going to LymeStop in December at the end. It was beautiful because they had a cancellation. I didn't have to wait like 6 months. I just I think it was maybe like 2 months or something, or maybe 3. I don't know. Can't remember shit right now these days. But yeah, so went to LymeStop, was still very much in the depths of hell. Like getting out there was it was very, 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 very difficult. Like I had a friend go with me, and I don't think I could have went by myself. So I'm just extremely grateful for God providing what I needed in that moment to get me out there. It was hell. Just everything about life. It was extremely difficult. So anyways, got out to LymeStop, found all sorts of things. If you don't know about LymeStop, you can research it. It's a magnetic treatment, CBT therapy, where they take these big magnets and place them on your body in different areas, and it stimulates your body's natural innate immune response with these different points to direct things. So, but lots of infections were found. I think probably Bartonella being my worst, which I've known just from blood work as well. But yeah, came back from LymeStop and felt awful. I went from having extreme anxiety, which I still had, to like severe, 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 severe depression, which is a side effect, I think, of treating any of this stuff. So, and then felt very flu-like very quickly after the 2 days of treatment. A lot of symptoms came back up, a lot of pain, and it was hard. It was extremely difficult, but I could feel the therapy working. I could feel it actually doing something, which was huge and incredible and great. Just to feel like something's happening. So it was probably like 3 weeks after that, I started having a few days where like I painted my toenails, which was like a big deal. Like I could sit and focus on something for a few moments, and the desire to even want to do that says something so, so, so big. But you'll never understand these things unless you've been through it. It's crazy. Anyways, so yeah, started having a few little moments like that where I was like, oh, I think I can like kind of see myself like a little tiny bit, which was an incredible blessing. And then I got COVID. My son had COVID, and then I had COVID, and then all my symptoms flared back up pretty significantly, and went deeply, deeply, deeply back into the depression and anxiety and panic and doom and electrical feeling. And at this point, I'm still not sleeping at all. So everything flared up pretty intensely. And then from there, still doing the acupuncture every week, which was just such an incredible blessing, because it wasn't just acupuncture, it's been like therapy, like, and a significant point in my life, anchor in my life, of unfolding these things philosophically in a very different way, and opening up my beliefs and what I think about all of this, and learning about spiritual alchemy and the heart and healing and medicine. And yeah, but at that point, deep in the acupuncture, started doing neurofeedback. Someone had suggested that. Actually, a really incredible friend that I've made along this journey, she recommended that. So started doing neurofeedback every week. And I think that those two things have been helpful, very, very slow, but significant. And also like not enough to like pull me completely out of this, but enough to give me some ground beneath my feet. This is already 20 minutes long. So anyways, I'm just gonna keep going. Yeah, and so neurofeedback goes in and it cleans up your brain's pathways. So it doesn't necessarily create new ones, it just calms everything down. And there's different sites on the head where you put these sticky things and then you turn the computer on and it zaps you for like a couple seconds. And then, yeah, I've noticed a difference, especially there's certain points for anxiety and all of that have been kind of like a game changer. So I've been still continuing with both of these every week. So around that time after I had COVID, I also saw a DO, which I thought was gonna solve a lot of my life because he's a brilliant man, but he gave me this adjustment because, like I was talking about with the psoas, like while I'm dealing with all the Lyme stuff and Bartonella and infections and COVID and mold and blah, 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 I'm still having this pelvic pain that's significant and I just can't figure it out, and it's chronic and it's all the time. And so I go to this DO thinking like, oh, well, if it's my psoas, he can adjust me and hopefully things can change and I'll feel better. And it's not what happened at all. Not even close. Not even close. So I go in and he is like, I know exactly what's going on, and you have this rotation and this hip is higher and da 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 da, and how things are kind of laying in there and these different sacs of fluid. And so he gives me this adjustment, and it really, he said I'd be sore. I was. I thought it was going to be this miracle. I thought I was going to be relieved of this pelvic pain, and maybe that would just catapult my healing, you know, because I'm not stuck in this chronic stress of this pain as well. But it created chronic sit bone pain. Like I couldn't even sit, which I didn't even know was a thing at all. So yeah, all of a sudden I can't sit. All of a sudden it feels like my sit bones are on fire. And then I'm very sore in my pelvic area. It didn't go away. I thought it was gonna last for maybe like a few days, and it just stayed, and started having some weird muscle weakness down my legs and fatigue and tightness, and then it started radiating out into like my glutes and my piriformis and iliacus and all of these things, and everything's just like twisting up. And I think my body, again, that like danger response of like, oh shit, like you just took me and I was already clamped down and you tried to like forcefully fix me, and there's just more danger. So it's, you know, just more layers of danger, of not feeling safe, I think, and the ripple effects of just all of that. And also my body, I think too, being maybe like, I'm not done yet. I'm not done teaching you this lesson. And you're trying to force it, which most people I think would if you're in chronic pain. But so anyways, that's been a thing. So ever since then, I have had weird nerve issues in my sitting area, like in my perineum area, in my whole root center area, still like pelvic pain, not as bad. It did kind of shift some things there, but it's still there. But the sit bone pain has been significantly worse. And I mean, before there was no way I could even sit here and do what I'm doing now at all. And it's still chronic, it's still every day. If I'm doing certain things, it's better. Other things kind of flared up, but it's been something on my mind almost completely 24/7. And it's been painful, and it's been really, really hard. Like so hard. Like I'm laughing and smiling, but like I can't even begin to tell you like the darkness that I've been in. Like, yeah, I mean, to the point of like not wanting to be here anymore, and that being consistent, because it's just been nonstop. And truthfully, like today is probably the best day that I've had, maybe this entire time since it started. Which is why I'm making this video. Today's probably the best day that I've had since October. And it's moment by moment still, like hour by hour, moment by moment. It's still been hard. It was extremely difficult this morning, but just trying to stay with my routine, because I have been really including like a lot of brain retraining with what I've been doing. So anyways, just to fill the gap, got the adjustment, chronic pain, still in a lot of my other symptoms, still not sleeping, started Lunesta, stopped Zoloft, started Lunesta to try to sleep. It's a sleeping medication. At one point I was taking like 40 milligrams of melatonin too. That was really interesting. But yeah, started Lunesta. That was giving me a little bit of relief for sleep. Not enough at all. It was very hit or miss. Let that go. Started trazodone because I just didn't feel like I had a choice. I just needed to sleep. So trazodone's been helping. So finally started sleeping a bit more. And the anxiety has kind of, I think from the neurofeedback and acupuncture has kind of, it's still very present and very there, but it's like calmed down, it's muted down a little bit. The depression, same, but it's still been pretty dark and significant, like really dark and significant. Yeah, so that's where I'm at, I think. What am I leaving out? Yeah, probably 3 weeks ago, maybe, I've been really diving into brain retraining for a while, just watching videos of people and their reviews and looking at the ins and outs, but didn't really start it, just, you know, playing with the edges. And probably 3 weeks ago, I've really been in a place where I was able to, I think, anyone that tells you that brain retraining is possible when you're in that catastrophic doom, terrifying anxiety place has obviously like never fully been that deep. I just want to say that because there's just no way. But thankfully all these other supportive modalities allowed me to be in a place where I've been able to meditate and visualize and just try to regulate and calm my nervous system and my brain, which I think has been really helpful. So I've been diving into brain retraining and watching a shit ton of Joe Dispenza and healing testimonies, and instead of being on all the Facebook groups like the Lyme group and even like endometriosis and all of that stuff, I've just been more into all these testimonials of people healing from the power of their heart, the power of their brain, at a cellular level, teaching safety and regulation, a lot of somatic practices. So yeah, this video is almost 30 minutes long now. It's just been a long time, so it's a lot to catch you up on. I guess I could have made 2 parts, but it just is what it is. There's a lot I've probably wanted to say that I've skipped over. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of desperation in all this too. Like almost doing this therapy, or, you know, I did get back on certain herbs or a shit ton of supplements, just ordering whatever I thought would work, or reaching out to mediums or psychics or other things, just like super, super, super sad and desperate to just know that I'm gonna be okay. And to be here today making this video and just thinking of everything that's happened in between, and the desperation and the darkness and surviving like the like nanosecond. It's just really crazy. But yeah, so I've done the LymeStop, doing the acupuncture, neurofeedback. I think all of it's been really important. Really important. I think at this point too, like the meditations and the visualizations and the somatics, physically, mentally, emotionally, the spiritual alchemy, the really diving into like my beliefs and healing my relationship with fear. That's a huge one. I think I'm gonna probably make a video completely on that, because I think that that's what this is all about, is healing my relationship with fear and you know, all of the absorbed childhood trauma and adult trauma and everything that I've accumulated, just trying to not cause any big waves or ripples, you know, to the people around me or life. I've just exploded, you know, so it's like kind of like a death. It's been very much a death of the old self and the person who just contained all of that darkness and trauma and hardship and grief and not feeling safe, into like the chrysalis of learning what all of it means, and to be safe and to let go of danger and process emotions and grief and things differently and come home once again differently to myself. So it's just been some really, 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 really big lessons, and just purging and my body just saying like, no more. You have to change, Gabrielle. Like, you have to change. You have to become healthy. You have to not fall back into old patterns and the ways that you were handling a lot of these things and what felt familiar, and just living in this fear all the time. So yeah, it's been a lot. No one should ever have to go through this journey. I don't think that anyone who hasn't been through this could ever possibly know how fucked up it is. And it's just something I just didn't even know it was possible. I mean, I found out a couple years ago going through it, but you know, even this time and the way that it's unfolded. But yeah, you know, the words like anxiety and panic, they don't even touch it. Or like even just some of the pain, like the chronic pain, like you don't know about these realms and realities until you're in them. And yeah, so I'm not really fully to the place where I can say it's been like the best, biggest blessing, but I'm sure that I will be. That's my plan. And another thing, I've been diving deep into TMS, which is the mind-body syndrome, which the mind-body syndrome is basically what I've kind of been talking about, some like the perceived danger syndrome, like the body just feeling so unsafe, the brain feeling so unsafe that it causes so much dysregulation, and it can cause severe back pain, it can cause severe pelvic pain, it can cause like weird autoimmune stuff, it can cause all sorts of stuff. There are crazy stories floating around on YouTube and the internet of TMS and the brain just wreaking havoc on the body and creating very, 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 very real sensation and symptoms, but coming from a brain point. So that's, I think, what's gotten me to today, honestly. There's a few people who post daily videos of this TMS work, and I've been just flooding myself in the best way with like, I'm not broken, I'm okay, like I'm safe, I'm actually safe, like nothing's wrong. I've had different tests and different things, and so far what I know is nothing's been found. So yeah, maybe it's just coming from this place of danger and never really feeling safe in the world, and an accumulation of that and trauma. So yeah, I rode my bike earlier, which was just fucking crazy because the sit bone pain and all the pain that's going on down here, I thought I would like never ride my bike ever again. And this TMS work is allowing me to coach myself that I'm okay and I can continue with life, and I can do these things, and nothing's trying to kill me, and I can breathe and I can be present, and I don't have to go into fear or like darkness or what ifs. Or so I just got on the bike, and it's a very big deal. Riding a bike has always been like really big medicine to me. Yeah, and the fact that I got on my bike today and rode for like 20 or 30 minutes, and you just don't know unless you've been there, unless you've been in like chronic pain or extreme dysregulation in your nervous system. Like these things are huge. Like you see everybody else just walking around or riding their bike or this normal life, and of course they could have things going on, but you just, like, people have no idea how blessed and fortunate they are. So today on my bike, I was just, I could feel my heart probably for the first time in a really, really, really long time, other than with my son. I could feel my heart and just feeling so thankful that I was on that bike, and I could feel the wind in my hair, and yeah, I could feel the wind in my hair, and I wasn't afraid. I mean, there's a little bit of fear of what if I make things worse, but I just didn't care in that moment. I was just showing up for myself and really allowing there to be a sense of like, I'm okay, I can do this. Like, I can move forward, I can get back to life. Teaching my body that it's safe, teaching my brain that it's safe. So getting on that bike was a huge, huge, huge deal. And yesterday I wore earrings. That was a huge deal. Again, these are the things that like you'll never understand unless you've been through it. I haven't worn earrings or makeup or anything since October when this started. And yesterday I put earrings on. I was like, I'm gonna pick out some earrings. I'm gonna put like this little bit of effort into myself where it hasn't even been a possible consideration before. And I think when you feel so shitty, like some people really put effort into themselves to look nice because they feel like that will make them at least feel good. And for me, it's the opposite. If I feel shitty, there's absolutely no way in the world that I can put on this like mask of I'm okay. Like it's just raw, very real, can't hold back, which I don't know what to think of that. I don't think it's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't think any of this is a good thing or a bad thing. It just is. Yeah, so it was like painting my fingernails that day, like putting on the earrings. I was just like, I'm healing. Like I'm gonna put the earrings on, I'm healing, instead of like, oh, I'm not there yet. I don't feel well enough to wear the earrings. It doesn't match my insides, but yesterday I just decided to do it anyways, and today I decided to ride the bike anyways. So things are moving, things are shifting, things are changing. You know, it's still extremely difficult, but I think it's going in the right direction. And tomorrow it could be hell again, or even later today. But I'm so thankful for the time that I've had today that's been good. Like someone asked me how I was doing earlier and I was like, I'm good. And I was like, whoa, wait, what'd I just say? I don't think those words have came out of my mouth since September at all. Yeah, so I hope that, I don't hope, things are moving in the right direction. It's terrifying to say that, but I'm gonna let go of the terrifying, because like there's no, everything's okay. There's nothing dangerous attacking me right now. Like I don't have to be terrified, and I can let myself have the feelings and the thoughts of things are moving in the right direction. And even if it's extremely all over the place and up and down, that I am healing and rebirthing, and I'm gonna get there. So I'm gonna stop the video. It's 40 minutes long. I feel like I left a lot out. If you've made it this far, holy cow, like congratulations. And it's really good to be with you, and I've probably laughed more and kind of smiled more. Like yesterday I laughed for the first time in a long time. Like I could feel it in my body. I could feel the laugh in my body. Like it sounds crazy, but it felt so good. And I miss it so much. And I miss smiling and being playful and being silly, and there hasn't been any of that. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to more of that, and I'm looking forward to healing and being on a different side where I know that miracles are possible. That's a huge part of this too, like my whole relationship with faith and miracles. That's a whole nother video, but yeah, when I'm there, you know, I think because I felt so deeply in my bones and my soul and my being that I would never heal, that I was gonna be stuck back in this place forever. Couldn't see a way out at all, and even now it's hard, but when I'm on the other side, I think it's a huge part of my purpose is to really not heal anyone, because you can't heal anyone. They can only heal themselves. But to be an example and a guide of what's possible, and that miracles are possible, and healing chronic pain, healing chronic symptoms, healing chronic infections, healing so much trauma, and that it's possible. So yeah, there's been so much loss through this whole entire journey over the past few years, over this year. Incredible, significant grief, but I think it's all been important. It's all been how it's supposed to be. Just layers of learning to let go and surrender and accept, and we'll see. So that's where I'm at, is we'll see. I'm still swimming, still feeling like pretty lost, but can see glimmers and hope. And hopefully tomorrow or later on or next week or whenever, when I'm feeling, you know, just so dark, I can even look back at this video and remember a moment where things kind of felt a little bit better. So this is probably more for me than anybody else. If there are any other things that you would like to know, let me know. You know, there's been probably a lot of things that I've left out, and just details of treatments and therapies and things that have happened along the way and blah, 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 but I'm gonna go. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't know anymore. I'm learning a lot, and I've met a lot of really beautiful people, and I've lost a lot of beautiful people, and life goes on, I guess, and we'll see. So I love you, and let me know if you have any questions. I feel like people have asked things about SOT or LymeStop that I'm not covering, and maybe I can just plan on doing these videos more often. But yeah, my heart really wraps around anyone who's going through this journey. It truly is, it can be hell on earth. But don't give up. I've had to have everybody else in the world tell me that. Don't give up. I've had to tell myself that. Can't give up. Because I think dealing with this type of stuff, it absolutely feels easier to just want to give up and to let go and, yeah, not be here. But I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that I'm here, and hopefully we'll get through all of this together. So, bye.